Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those who don't know me, I am Dr. Asma. I am an international medical graduate and I am presently working as specialty registrar in London. Today the topic of the video is about PLAb versus MRCP route of getting NHS job. I think it is a most vital step and all the medical graduates who are thinking of moving to the UK should brainstorm these options very clearly and extensively to know what are the pros and cons and what route can suit you the best. I will take you, my talk will be about the steps involved in the process, duration and cost involved in all of this, the success rates, job aspects and life after joining the NHS. So PLAb, as we know, this is a licensing exam which gives you right to practice as a doctor in the UK. It has two parts. Part 1 is online and part 2 is practical. Part 1 can be done in your country. What are the prerequisites? You need to have finished your MBBS and you need to have a language exam with the minimal scoring. As for IELTS, it is 7.5 overall and individual areas should be at least 7. And for OET, your individual areas should be at least grade B. Once you have your MBBS and language exam, you can apply for PLAb online and get a slot. Your house job is not essential to start doing your PLAb exams, but it is desirable because once you finish your PLAb to come here for work, it is easier once you have full registration, which happens only after you give proof that you have done your foundation or house job program in your country. And also it gives you better aspects to apply for the specialty application. And also the CREST form, which is an alternative to this, is a bit cumbersome, but it is doable. We can talk about it later. So now once you get your prerequisites, you have a GMC account, you start uploading your documents which include your MBBS, your language exam, passport, proof of address, email address, etc. And then you book a slot. As I said that it is computer based exam. It is a 3 hours exam with 180 questions. They are all multiple choice question which each will have a scenario followed by 5 options. GMC has given extensive material to prepare for PLAb exam. Most important is PLAb blueprints, a foundation program, curriculum and good medical practice. So overall PLAb 1 is a very easy exam because it is a level of a senior house officer. It checks you in your knowledge, in your practical scenarios, interpersonal skills, and then it can be taken in your home country, various slots and locations. The overall fees presently in 2022 is £247. It has a very high passing rate, 65 to 75%, which is really very good. Moving on to the next step, you can do epic verification of your exams, of the PLAb 1, your MBBS and stuff. Then you move on to booking PLAb 2. Next step will be your PLAb 2 visa application. In visa application, you need to do it online, which costs around £95. Once you get started with your application, you need to give the following documents like a valid passport, email confirmation for PLAb 2 exam, cover letter, self-funded trip. If it is a self-funded trip, you need to show your salary slip, bank statements, confirmation of accommodation, no objection certificate from your employer and letter of recommendation. The next step will be choosing your visa appointment and date. About PLAb 2, it's an OSCE exam, which means it's a practical exam. It has 16 scenarios which include clinical exam, practical skill, interpersonal skill. For the OSCE exam, the level expected to pass these scenarios, these stations are from what will be a UK doctor foundation year 2, so a level of senior house officer is expected. This is restricted to the UK. As we said, you have to come to the UK. It costs around £906. It also has very good passing rate from 65 to 70%. Now the next step will be that you will have your GMC registration and you start applying for your jobs. So what are the job aspects once you have done your PLAb and you have got your GMC registration? So you are open to many specialties. You can begin as a senior house officer in various specialties. Your basic salary is from 25 to 35k depending on your whole experience. And then there is an on-call banding which is 40% of your basic rate, and there could be extra A&E enhancement if you're working more unsocial hours. So this really makes it attractive when you put another 40% to these figures. Let's talk about MRCP Route. So MRCP Route or MRCPCH or MRCOG, MRCS, all these exams are the UK exams which exempts you from PLAb and can give you direct GMC registration. So let's start what these exams are like. So for example, MRCP, it has two written parts, MRCP Part 1, MRCP Part 2, and then the PACES, which is clinical. Part 1 estimates about £608 for international centers. So Part 1, because it is written exam, you can take it in your country. You need to have 12 months of experience essentially to apply for MRCP Part 1. MRCP Part 2 is also written exam. You need to pay £608 in various locations. Now comes the clinical PACES, which happens in many countries across the globe, and average fee is around £1,200. Now I come to, I cannot, probably it's beyond the scope of my talk to describe each and every step involved in MRCP, because it's a very stringent process. It's a very competitive exam. It needs a lot of studying, a lot of dedication to your specialty, and it needs a lot of budgeting and funding as well. It's a long run exam. It's not quick that you can finish in few months. It would take at least years. Now I come to the passing rate. Unfortunately, for international medical graduates, the passing rate for MRCS, MRCP is around 40 to 45%, which is appalling as compared to the UK graduates, which are around 70%. Anyhow, after finishing your MRCP, MRCPCH, XYZ, you will be eligible to get GMC registration using the same evidence as described in the previous steps. Now, what are the job aspects? You would be inclined to apply to only to your specialty, like if you're a medic or surgeon or pediatrician or gynae obs. I won't say that there are less jobs, but definitely you have some restriction because you already have a career plan. You know which specialty you want to continue. So that's one thing. Additionally, once you arrive in the UK, your initial months might be just as an SHO rota or as an SHO role. They might compromise your salary, they might not, depending on what negotiation and what plan you have worked out with them. The usual expected salary for like middle grade entry is 33 to 44k, with an addition of 50% of banding once you have taken your full role and you have started doing independent on calls, which makes it quite lucrative to about 70k on average per annum. Right, so now I have described you briefly about the steps, mostly along the lines of PLAb and along the lines of MRCP. I will tell you now briefly, I will show you the comparison of what factors I have found in both of these routes when you come to the UK. So it will be good to view this table. So as I've said, the first thing is your stage of life. When you probably are doing PLAb, you are a very young graduate, I would imagine. You are thinking from your later years of graduation, during your house job, you're not sure which specialty you will finally settle in, and it's also your age and stage of your career. You're very enthusiastic, you are ready to take the stress, you're more resilient, you're more flexible, you're more energetic. As compared to MRCP, so I would imagine if you're giving postgraduate exams, you're at least settled in your specialty. You have few years of your experience, you are used to a system, you know how it is like to be a doctor generally in your life. Now the level of exam, I guess PLAb is very simple. It just involves very basic steps of what a sensible doctor should have in order to work successfully and safely with patients in the NHS. While when we talk about specialty exams, they not necessarily, especially the MRCP and MRCPCH exams, they are very competitive. They require a significant level, a set criteria of knowledge and skills for a doctor, because they are thinking you to be an independent doctor, working, carrying independently bleep and attending crash courses. Now we talk about duration of all of this process. I would say if you have an idea, fair idea and planning, it should be months to clear your PLAb. However, it can't be less than years for your postgraduate exams. Now we come to cost, very important. If I have calculated the cost, which is application and fee and very essential expenditure that you have to do for PLAb, it is around £1,800. However, if not double, if not triple, it would be double for your postgraduate exam. So don't think anything less than 3,000 for your postgraduate exams. In terms of job aspects, when you have a GMC registration, you are more flexible and more adaptable when you are choosing a job and when you are provided with options as an SHO, as a PLAb graduate. However, if you are an MRCP, you're already committed to the specialty, your options are less. Also, it depends on where you want to train yourself further in terms of specialty. So those factors you have to keep in mind. Coming to salary, objectified salary for a junior doctor is 25 to 35 to begin working as a doctor, while if you're experienced middle grade, you will be 35 to 45k. So around there's a difference of 10k plus the on-call banding, which will be more for the middle grade. I would say it's not a very lucrative or attractive or catchy point when you consider all the options. When you're coming young, you can survive with less, you have more energy as compared to when you're coming already at nearly consultant level in your country. Moving here, these numbers, I'm not sure how much significant they are after deduction of taxes. Now, most importantly, I will think of family aspects. When you are a young doctor coming to the NHS, probably your family is more flexible. They are more set. They have more opportunity to, just as yourself, they have more capability to cope and understand the system and thrive in the system, as compared to when you're coming here at a later stage or middle stage of your life. You need to have specific setups before you agree to an area. If your children are slightly in higher education or above middle education, you have to think of all these aspects, because you're not as young and as flexible to location as if you are applying as very young. That summarizes my comparison, and sensibly, when I analyze both of these options, I must encourage people who want to come to the UK to come as young graduates. PLAb is an easy exam and it is quite inexpensive. You start at lower level, you have more options, you have more flexibility to think what you want to become in future. NHS system is quite different to what other countries' specialist hospital system work. When you come here, a very simple GP job or a very simple community job might attract you more, or in vice versa, if you want to take a tertiary job or enthusiastic subspecialty experience, you would like to start from the beginning of NHS experience and get your profile ready from the beginning. So I guess whatever way you decide in terms of career planning as well, when you come early, you adapt to the system early, you understand the system early, and you focus yourself better, the other aspects of salary and being responsible, I would recommend it is not a massive difference that could change your decision. So I think these are the fair points you should consider before making your decision, and I hope this is helpful for all of you. Thank you very much, and bye.